So I work as a line cook in a kitchen. I work the pantry station. Usually I will survey the mise en place or the ingredients that I need for service and see what I need to prep. Most of my coworkers are men. There's one other woman who works in the kitchen with us, and that's usually the case. There was one time in particular I remember gender being brought up, and we had a female instructor who asked all of the females in the class to stay afterwards. She then went on to detail the things that we had to do as women in the kitchen since it was such a male-dominated industry. She put a lot of emphasis on trying to do everything yourself without asking for help or leaning on the men in the kitchen, especially when it came to carrying things that were heavy, straining, 60-gallon pots of stock. Don't ask for. I was actually surprised getting out of culinary school and going into kitchens how few women work in the industry. It's extremely male dominated, and I've only worked under one female chef in my whole career. I would say that she was harsher, and I think that might go along with the fact that since she's a woman, she wants to be taken seriously in a place where there aren't very many women. And I would say women aren't taken very serious. I would say that I think the kitchen is one of the more misogynist workplaces that I've ever worked in. It's undoubtedly a boys' club. And I think that there's also just a lot of space for sexual misconduct because of the culture of the kitchen. Because I've definitely experienced and seen other women experience sexual harassment in the workplace.
Was it handled with or was it dealt with?
Generally not, just because with the need to seem tough, you don't want to go against your team members, the people that you work with. You don't want to narc people out, so you just sort of try and deal with it yourself. Because the workplace is so male dominated, I find that I, as well as the other women that I work with in the past and now, have a tendency to try and be as tough, as the guys. And there was something that a girl that worked with me told me once, and when I'd cut myself, she said, "You better not let them see you bleed." There's just this consensus that women are weaker, and there's a effort put forward by myself and the rest of the females that I've worked with to not be weak. I think it depends on the level of the restaurant, and I think that it would be surprising to a lot of people to know that the higher quality or finer dining of the restaurant, the more I have personally faced sort of the misogyny and kind of harassment aspect. The most equal kitchen I've ever worked in was a pizza kitchen. It depends kitchen to kitchen though, and who the management is and what they're willing to allow. When I first started working out of culinary school, I worked at a great restaurant and started out being paid $10 an hour. Another culinary student was brought on about 6 months after I had started, and he started out as a pay of $10.50, and then before I ever received a raise, he was given a raise to $11. As far as women doing more cooking in home, that's something that I experience. I'm lucky my boyfriend also works in the culinary industry, so we both enjoy cooking, but I still find myself doing a lopsided amount of the domestic duties, cooking included.
Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me and answering some of my questions. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.